Hi everybody, State Assemblyman Byrne here in our state's capital with my colleague Phil Palmesano from the Southern Tier. We just finished up a press conference fighting for more CHIPS funding. And my friend Phil is going to talk a little bit about what that means. But just for you folks at home that may not understand, we have a lot of dollars in our state's budget. It's a massive $200+ billion state budget. And when we do budgets, we got to talk about priorities. And one of the top priorities needs to be infrastructure. And when I talk with my friend Phil here, who I crisscrossed the state with a couple of years back on a special task force, over 86% of our roads are maintained and owned by local governments, county governments, towns, villages. So our state has an obligation to invest in that transportation system locally, make sure we take care of those potholes. This is a core function of government at the state level, at the county level, at the local level, and they need support from our state government in the budget process. That's why we're fighting for safe roads, sound bridges, and CHIPS is one of the formulas. But Phil, you are, and I say this affectionately, Mr. CHIPS on this issue. Local roads don't only matter, but they are essential. Tell us a little bit about what we're fighting for in this year's state budget.
Yes, with the projected 5-year, $24 billion budget surplus and $13.4 billion in federal infrastructure aid coming to our state, we are here fighting for an increased partnership and collaboration with our local municipalities to drive more resources to our local communities, our towns, our villages, cities, and counties to provide that infrastructure funding to fix your local roads and bridges and culverts through the CHIPS program, a very successful and effective program. For every dollar that's invested in the CHIPS program, that saves $1 from the local property taxpayer. Every dollar invested in the CHIPS program saves $6 to $14 in long-term rehabilitation costs. This is warranted and justified, as my good friend and strong advocate, Mr. Byrne, has said. 87% of the roads in New York State are owned and maintained by our local municipalities. 52% of the 18,000 bridges in New York State are owned and maintained by our local municipalities, and 48% of the miles driven are driven on our local roads. We have billions of dollars in unmet needs. The comptroller has estimated there's $89 billion in unmet needs on our local infrastructure system, including $27.4 billion just on our local bridges alone. This is long overdue. We need to make this financial commitment in partnership with our local municipalities, and you deserve to have some of your state dollars coming back to your local communities to fix your local roads, bridges, and culverts. It's the right thing to do, and we have a tremendous opportunity in front of us this year with the record budget surplus and the influx of federal aid coming into our state. So we need to partner and direct that money to our local communities. Just as the MTA is the lifeblood of our downstate transportation network, CHIPS is the lifeblood of many of our upstate communities, particularly in rural areas and all across the state. Sometimes there are some communities that the only money they have for the local infrastructure comes through the CHIPS program. So this is the right thing to do. It's the right investment to make, and it's the right investment to make now.
And I couldn't say it better myself. Like I said, Phil, Mr. CHIPS, Mr. Local Roads. You know, we have a state obligation to maintain all of our state roads and highways and parkways, which a lot of our friends and our people that follow us are very aware of, that there's a need there. But local roads absolutely matter. They are a vital, critical part of our transportation system. That's why it's important that it gets included in this year's state budget. Thanks for tuning in.